Hello, everybody. We're back for Hops and Horses, and Jake is back from his vacation. Welcome back, Jake. We missed you.
Good to be back.
All right. I am, by the way, wearing my USS Aspro SSN 648 shirt. You know, just feeling patriotic today. Thought I'd wear my Astro hat.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna lift it up a little bit so it doesn't block.
What's it? Well, tell us what that means. What does that mean?
That was my submarine.
Okay.
I was on this submarine.
Cool.
SSN 648 fast attack submarine out of Hawaii. I was an officer.
Sweet.
Yeah, nuclear powered. So anyway, yeah. So we're not talking about that today. We're talking about the horses. And now, before we get started, I want to remind everybody about this massive road trip that I'm going on. You know, I think I told you. Now, Jake and I will be in Arlington next Saturday.
Is that next Saturday, man?
Yeah, next Saturday, 8/21.
It's creeping up.
So Arlington next Saturday. Now, then on Indiana Monday, I'll be there the 23rd.
Indiana Grand on Monday.
24th is a little up in the air. Right now I'm planning Thistledowns, but I'm getting some, I think I'm going to stick with that, but I am getting some people saying to go to Presque Isle. But the problem with Presque Isle is it's night racing. But it is farther up and a little bit closer to Saratoga. So I mean, I'm either doing Thistledowns or Presque Isle. I'm trying to figure that out. And then I'm gonna land in Saratoga on Wednesday. I guess that's the 25th, and I'm gonna be in Saratoga all week. I hope I can meet as many people as possible there. Then I'm leaving and I'm going to Delaware with a buddy on the 31st. Gonna meet with Tom and Tom Racing on the 31st. And then I'm meeting with another friend at Colonial on the 31st for Virginia Derby Day. Okay? And then I'll come home. So it's gonna be a great trip. I'm packing plenty of underwear.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta have, you know, I can wear.
You'll only wear half. You'll only wear half of whatever you pack. That's the way that works.
So anyway, great road trip. Hope I can see some people out there. Beer.
I'm gonna fly up, I think, for the day. That's my plan on Saturday. I've never been to Arlington, and I hear we're getting ready to lose it. So I figured I'd fly up for the day and, you know, see what that's all about, but make a one-day trip. And
yeah, this will be after this trip, I've been to 30 racetracks with live horse racing in America. And then in Europe, I've been to 4, and then I've been to Dubai, Hong Kong, 2 in Japan. But this will be 30 in America live racing, but that does include Maynard Downs. Maynard Downs is you know.
But have you been to Fauner Park?
No, I
haven't.
Gotcha. I'm gonna do another tour next year.
Gotcha.
This thing is gonna be an annual thing.
Yeah.
All right, beer. I'm doing the Neon Shades. I don't think I've done this beer here yet. This is a Tupps beer, 5 minutes down the house. It's a sour, but it's a sour with cherries and cocoa nibs. It's kind of like a chocolatey cherry sour. It also has some lactose that kind of smooths it out. I'm not a big lactose fan of my beer, but it's got some lactose in there. Kind of smooths it out. Cool little can, Neon Shades.
I feel like our drinks are kind of similar.
Yeah.
This week a little bit. Got? I'm going with the, you know, sticking with gluten free. Got to do it.
Okay.
I'm going with the truly black cherry hard seltzer. It's kind of like a you know, what do you call those things? White Claw. It's kind of like a White Claw.
Okay.
It's an HEB knockoff White Claw.
Okay.
You know, not only am I gonna, you know, drink a girly drink, I'm gonna make sure I get a good deal on it. So that looks pretty red.
Yeah, it's cherry. Yeah, it's a cherry toast you know. Both doing some cherry and chocolate. It's fantastic.
Man, sounds good. Well,
all right,
let's handicap let's handicap these grade 3s at Arlington.
Oh
Oh
my
wait,
God.
I meant grade 1s. I meant grade 1s.
Okay, so we are doing, listen, this is hilarious. We are doing the Arlington, used to be the Million. We're paying our respect.
600K.
We're going to do the races today, the 3 grade 1s. And now the race 7 and 9 is the Beverly D. And then now they're calling the Arlington Million. I was looking at the past performance. It's called the Mr. D.
I don't know what this D thing is. I mean,
Might be Beverly's husband. I don't know.
well, there's the Beverly D, the Bruce D,
Right.
and the Mr. D.
Right. So they don't even call it the Arlington Million now. And race 8, the Bruce D, that I don't even know.
I think one of those.
I don't even know if that's a grade 3. That's
I think
barely a grade 3.
I think I saw one of those horses at Gillespie County.
That is the worst grade 1 I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to walk out of that race with a grade 1.
Yeah. Well, I think the morning line favorite is an allowance horse, right? He's had 2 starts or something like that. Yeah.
It's so bad. Now, race 7 and race 9. Okay, those are, borderline grade 1. They're a little weak this year, but there's some good horses in there.
I mean, I kind of felt like they should have just combined all the purses, gave the 2 or 3 fillies like a 12-pound weight break, and then let them all run a mile and a quarter for about $1.6 million. Like, I don't understand why they didn't do that. I mean, it's 2 or 3 horses in each race, and then like a bunch of allowance. I mean, basically allowance horses. I mean, most of them are still eligible for non-2, or non-3.
It's a weak field, but we're going to pay our respects to Arlington Park, and then we're going to go there in person next week. All right. So, all right, let me share a couple documents. Share a screen. I'm going to share these 2 documents. And we'll talk about race 7 first, which is the Beverly D.
Beverly D.
Yeah. Now, what's your thoughts on this race?
Great race. Great, historically great race.
Historically great race.
Yeah. So I thought, obviously I think Mean Mary is going to be super tough in here. If you scroll down to the horse right there that ran at Belmont,
Santa Barbara.
Yeah. I think it's a 2-horse race. I think those 2 horses are probably going to crush this group. The thing that worries me, and I didn't go back and watch, we had a race at Saratoga the other day, maybe this past weekend, where the colt that ran in the Belmont Derby came back and ran poorly.
Ran very poorly.
Yeah. And I didn't watch the race. He could have had trouble.
No.
Turf route. I don't know.
No.
But he ran poorly. And so I worry, the second start in the US, I kind of worry about these horses like this at low odds. She is getting first time Lasix. I don't know if O'Brien doesn't work his horses. I don't know if he doesn't give his horses official works. The horse, I guess, has been here for over a month and doesn't
I don't
have
think so. I think he went back. I think they took this horse back.
See, that's what I was wondering. Like the first thing I thought was, did they take this horse back to Europe and then come back here?
I think
because, man, that's a heck of a, I don't know. Maybe it's not that far, but that seems like a lot to me. Maybe she's a beast. I don't know. She had a rough trip in the Belmont Oaks, and she still got up and beat that group. If she has, pretty small field here, if she gets a clean trip, she's obviously going to be pretty tough as long as she fires. I think that horse at Saratoga the other day just didn't even fire at all. So I think, to me, the most likely winner is Mean Mary. The other horse down here, I forget where she is, maybe in the 5 or 6 hole. this Lamista horse. I mean, Pratt's jumping on.
Yeah.
That horse obviously has talent. She won a bunch of races, last year and the year before in Europe. She hasn't run great, since she's been here. That very first start was pretty good. It's tough, it's tough to get past those top two. And then I forget who else was in this race. Was there anybody lower than this down in the 7-hole or out?
No. Seven has no shot.
Yeah.
All right. So you and I see the race pretty similar. Let me give you a couple of my thoughts. So first of all, looking at the sheet here, Mean Mary is on top. Makes sense. There's no pace in the race. Okay. And she should be able to control it.
Yeah.
She's not dominant though on the speed figure, the energy. The 92 is just sort of in the group. And but she's the most likely winner and is going to get a dream trip all the way around. I'm a little against Santa Barbara. That horse, I can't remember, Bolshoi Ballet was the name. That horse looked awful. And now I was looking at this trainer stats on Santa Barbara. 6% first time Lasix. Now huge ROI, so some bomb one.
Yeah.
And then graded stakes 6%. How is Aidan O'Brien 6% on graded stakes?
I mean, he part of that, I think he had a couple of. Remember, he had a couple of really rough Breeders' Cups where he had like 17 horses or something running like one weekend of the Breeders' Cup, and he had no wins.
Maybe.
And so I think that's probably what that is. I don't remember if that was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but he had a couple of rough Breeders' Cups, and I think that's probably what happened with those numbers. But I mean, it historically, and we know we've said this for years, they just don't run as well second time in this country.
True, but he didn't get the Lasix.
Yeah,
Or she does. This field is probably, what's an interesting field. Mean Mary is the only threat, and then you got a bunch of local horses. But,
yeah.
And now Mean Mary, unfortunately, the problem with Mean Mary is, you're going to get basically 7 to 5. Maybe not. Maybe Santa Barbara gets bet heavy,
I mean, the thing, if Santa Barbara scratched out of this race, Mean Mary is 1 to 9.
Right.
I mean, or 1 to 5 or something like that. I mean, that would be the presence of that other horse is the only thing that's going to get you more than even money on the two, so
I thought other horses though, just let me talk for a second. You did enough talking. Let me talk for a second. Lamista is first time Lasix with Pratt. Now look at their win percentage. 48% out of 21. That's like, I guess, 10 for 21. Pratt and Brown are deadly. I don't think Pratt's getting on this horse unless he was told this horse is ready to run. And you might get 5 to 1. You really might.
Oh yeah.
And Naval Laughter ran really well. Okay. That's a legitimately good race. But look at the breeding, 17K up here. Midshipman to Medaglia d'Oro. Doesn't look like turf at all. First time turf. Wins of grade 3. This is a tougher spot. The guy second grass is 22%. This horse, if for some reason Mean Mary doesn't fire, this Naval Laughter horse is definitely an upset shot. I think the upset shots are the 4, 5, 6. I'm wearing my Navy hat,
That's true. I looked at there's several horses in here. I think the top 3 finishers from that last race.
Yeah.
And the thing that worried me about that race, if you go up, I think to the 3 horse.
Yeah.
So the 3 horse who ran second,
Yeah,
beaten by Naval Laughter, was under 4-1 in that race.
right.
And if you look at her races coming into that race, I mean, she hasn't won in forever. I don't know how, what was that field if that horse was probably second choice. We don't see who the favorite was because the one horse, I believe the one horse ran third in that race, also at a price.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought that was probably, it was a good speed figure.
It's the local prep, very good speed figure. 154 and 2 is pretty solid. I mean, Mean Mary, got beat in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, got beat barely. The Diana race is really impressive. Lost by a neck to Rushing Fall. Before that was kind of beating up on nobodies, and then won a grade 3 and grade 2. I mean, she's a little bit overrated, in my opinion. I don't think she's like the greatest horse at all. I mean, she could win this race, but I don't think she's dominant. Okay. And her speed figure doesn't look dominant to me. I mean, I'm going to probably take a shot with Lamista, who gets an A. And, is not chalky. He's fourth choice on the morning line and gets Pratt on board for Chad Brown. I mean, this horse I think is going to run big and you're going to get a decent price. So, but I won't argue with Mean Mary. I think Santa Barbara is certainly a contender. You could go 3 deep, and if you go with these 3 deep, I think you're covered. It's hard to imagine Naval Laughter winning the race. All right, I'll go second. I'll go in this race. I'll go first. I like a price in here. I think this is the worst grade 1 field I've ever seen. I mean, in history.
Yeah.
Tango is the favorite. We'll look at Tango. And then Point by Me. Those are definitely the 2 favorites, and they deserve to be. But the 9 is my upset candidate. And let's take a look at that race. So first of all, Tango is coming out of the local prep, where he won at 8.5 to 1.
Breaking his maiden.
Broke his maiden. Okay. And they said it was slow, 81 speed figure. 143 and 2 looks pretty decent to me. But anyway, that's
bounce candidate.
Yeah, that's the favorite.
Yeah.
Ginsburg, I thought looked interesting for Arnold coming in off a maiden win. Okay.
Pretty good late speed figure there on that one.
Yeah, got some kick. Point Me By couldn't win, although I will say that effort, breaking your maiden at 100K and then losing by a length in an allowance race is probably better than what Ginsburg has done, winning a Gulfstream 50K or losing a Gulfstream 50K and then winning at Ellis.
Yeah, and the 6 picks up Sias.
Right. So the 6 makes some sense, but neither of those are grade 1 horses. They are at best non-winners, one other than horses. And so that makes me interested in this 9 who sits on top of my sheet, who had 1 turf race back last year in October in the Awad Stakes at Belmont and lost by 3/4 of a length with Jose Ortiz at a big price, by the way. Before that, had a couple wins on the all-weather sprinting. Okay. Went back to Parks, and then was rained off the turf, took second, rained off the turf, and then all-weather sprinting again. I mean, obviously, out of a $3,500 sire, nothing special. But Larry Ravelli, 31% third off the layoff, 19% in graded stakes, with E.T. Baird, who's 23%. They win 31% of their races together. And this horse will be second-time turf. Maybe likes the turf. And, in my sheet, goes from 9.2, which is, pretty mediocre, to 2.4 on best odds. So getting the play off the best odds, I think the 12-1, nothing about that horse says 5-1, nothing. So I think you're going to get the price. You're going to get 8-1, 9-1. And there's really not that much to go beat, in my opinion. So that's who I like. Who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the 9 100%.
Really?
I mean, yeah.
I thought you did Talk Fest today.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, in the other two races, definitely.
Oh,
in this race,
you're jumping on my horse.
No, in this race, I mean, I think the most likely winner, because he's lightly raced, is the 6.
Okay.
Because Saez comes on. I mean, the horse broke his maiden at 5.5. He stretched out and I'll just keep talking. He ran exactly like you would expect a horse to run, stretching out for the first time. Now he's coming back, second time stretch out. I mean, I think that 6 is probably the most likely winner of the race and the biggest upset chance to the 9. But when I looked at the past performances, the horse I immediately went to was that 9 horse. I mean, that turf route, back last year is probably good enough to win this. Man, that's the kind of horse, like, when you talk about, I mean, other than like dreaming of, owning a big time graded stakes horse, this is the kind of horse you want to own.
Yeah.
These horses that, I mean, he can run short, he can run long, he goes to the front and wins. He sits back, he drops back to midway, halfway back in the field and he wins. The horse seems like really game. And I just, that's the 9 was the very first horse that I went to. Big time prime power number there.
Yeah.
I like this race, 9, 6, 6, 9, definitely.
All right. Well, that matches pretty much what I have. I had 9. I like 6. I think the 2 is certainly capable of winning. The other horse to talk about is King of Miami. And we already talked about Ginsburg coming off the allowance loss. And then King of Miami is coming out of the local prep, losing to the favorite. And ran absolutely awful. I mean, it's pretty hard to support that horse.
I mean, yeah, short, definitely he was a short price, and you can see why. He had some pretty good races coming in. That's the kind of horse that he's 5-1 morning line. Because of that last race, he goes off at 15-1, and then he runs third and screws your trifecta. That, to me, that's like that kind of horse, not a win candidate, but if you left him, out of a tri wheel, you'd probably be pissed. But other than that, yeah.
Well, let's go to the Big Daddy, Mr. D, Big Daddy. Who do you like?
I'm not only going to give out the winner here.
Okay.
I'm going to skip right over win. Okay. I'm going to go for like the cold trifecta. Okay. This is the kind of race. And, you see these guys. I mean, we were talking earlier before we started, we were talking about Twitter. You see these guys on Twitter that sometimes you'll see them drop like a $100 cold try or a $200 cold try.
Okay.
To me, this is that kind of race, because I literally think it could be like 5 or 6 lengths back to 4th.
Yeah.
I think Armory is going to be tough. The big European horse coming in, I think he's down in the 6 or 7 or 8 hole.
9 hole.
9 hole. So obviously, I think that horse is going to be tough. It's Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore, first time Lasix. This horse is different than, got people that aren't used to looking at past performances, if that exists. But, this horse looks different. When we looked at like Bolshoi Ballet and those horses, that we've been handicapping at Belmont and Saratoga, they didn't come in with this kind of background.
No.
I mean, this is Irish Champion Stakes. This is the Prince of Wales. This is the Tattersall's Gold Cup. I mean, these are the Kentucky Derbies and the Breeders' Cup Classics and the Preaknesses and the Belmonts of European racing.
Yeah.
I mean, these are big, big, big races. That being said, I think domestic spending is going to take him. I think it's going to be these two horses down to the wire.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, I think domestic spending is the 2 or the 3. I can't remember.
The thing about domestic spending is he runs all the way.
Yeah.
It won't stop running. And
right.
I think you're right. It's a 2-horse race. Those are the 2 horses. I don't see
and I think Zulu Alpha, who is really a great horse. I think he probably wants longer, but he's run really good races at 1.25 miles before. I think that horse probably passes all these other horses for third. If I were at the track, I'd be going for the gold here, and I'd be betting something like a Cold Try, domestic spending, Armory, Zulu Alpha, or some combination of that, because the rest of these horses, this 5-horse prepped. He prepped here at Arlington last time out, first off a layoff. Now he's second off a layoff. Again, he picks up Saez. Saez is just, he's just laying gold bricks right now.
He is. And Maker's been red hot up in Saratoga. And look at this horse. Street Cry to AP Indy for Calumet Farm, Mike Makers, Saez. The only thing is this is an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
He's getting a little long in the tooth. And gelded, so he keeps running. Something went wrong in September. He runs a good third. But look at the previous year. Ran in that same race, came back a few weeks later, ran in Belmont, then ran in the Breeders' Cup, comes back for the Pegasus World Cup, wins it. The McYarman, good race. Okay. And then he takes off from September to July.
He starts to tail off. And then he takes off.
You could barely. You think third at Kentucky Downs is a tail off? A lot of horses don't even like that track.
Yeah.
And he lost to Arklow and Red Knight. And that's legit. And then I think he got hurt. So I think he got hurt, and now he finally comes back in July and looks absolutely awful.
Yeah,
that's his worst effort. Okay,
could have been a training. To me, I look at that and I say, okay, that was a training race.
Maybe,
but I don't think he can.
Money, 4 to 5.
I don't think he can win. I don't think he's going to beat those other 2 horses. But I think he's probably second off a layoff. I think he's probably better than the horses he faced that day. And he's coming back against a lot of them,
Well, let's come. Yeah. And the size factor is big. Now, let's look at my sheet. Okay. Domestic spending, Zulu Alpha, Armory. Armory is probably really second best. You see this 3.1 here, but he gets dropped down because of Aidan O'Brien with the one trainer.
Yeah.
Zulu Alpha. Those are the top 3. Man, really hard. Now, I'll tell you one horse I looked at. Okay. I don't think it's a great pick, but I'm going to just tell you one horse I looked at. Besides, 2 Emmys lost, didn't even win that Arlington. Anyway, it was this Space Traveler. Now, there's so many things I don't like about this horse. Like, number 1, does not get Lasix on. Oh yeah, I had a point to make about that. Yeah, so let's look at this. If you don't think Lasix matters, why is Santa Barbara putting Lasix on? Santa Barbara, Aidan O'Brien knows, okay, that Lasix is a performance enhancer because it reduces the horse's water weight. And so the horse obviously does not need Lasix, but he's not going to run, it's unfair for him to have to run without it. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, going back to Space Traveler, no Lasix. That's a knock for me. I don't like that. Second knock, he's changing trainers to Brendan Walsh. That's okay. And he's never gone over a mile. I mean, he's had plenty of chances. 19 chances, never gone over a mile. Now he's going over. Now he's going to go to mile quarter, and so it's all just strange to me. I mean, I look at this horse and I'm saying, nah. And I see this 21. Why is Daniel Tudhope coming over for it? That just baffles me.
Is he? I don't know. Is that a good jock? Or?
I don't even know if that's a good jock. I've never heard of the guy, but he rides this horse.
Maybe he doesn't. Yeah, I mean, maybe he doesn't have anything better to do over there.
That might be. Well, I mean, why didn't Brendan Walsh go get a better jockey?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some guys some other guys in town.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, I think you've got it right. It's probably just looking at the sheet. I mean, Armory makes so much sense. Domestic spending, they're probably 1-2. And then you probably got Zulu Alpha trying to get third. I just don't think he's a lock for third, but he does get my plus here. And I've been burned before when I go against my pluses. So, all right, well, that makes some sense. We'll stop sharing, go back to this view. Arlington, sort of million day. The weakest one in history, race 8. I've never seen worse. But we got a good race in race 7, good race in race 9. Gonna be some fun. And then next Saturday, we're gonna enjoy Chicago. All right. Oh, I just lost power.